So today's video is about what I've learned in 2025. Now bear in mind guys, 2025 was me traveling the world. So I've tried to rack up all the things I've learned in the last 12 months whilst traveling. And yeah, they're quite random. So I just thought it would be fun to share with you. Let's get into it, guys. And if you don't know where I've been for the last year, there are 3 videos. I've had to split it into 3 because there are so many things to get through. 3 videos on my channel that break up into the months that I've been traveling. Covers all the countries, covers the best and worst things. So if you go and have a look at those, this will all connect nicely for you. First up is how to ride a motorbike, which sounds trivial because obviously everyone in Bali and Thailand rides a motorbike. But if you've not been to Thailand or Bali and you've only driven a car, driving a motorbike's a cool thing. And I'm not saying like one of those ones where you like that on it. I've not tried one of those ones, guys. Just a ped and, big type motorbike. I don't know. Just put my melon to one side. I was just nibbling on some melon. Riding a motorbike and navigating public transport. That's another one. Trying to figure out where I'm going and how to do it. Not everything works how the UK or America would with like the underground and trains and buses. And, some buses are like mini buses. That's their bus. And I remember in, where was I? I can't remember where I was now. Where you just stand on a highway and flag it down and it will flash you. And if you still want it, you keep your arm out. Like that's their way of calling a bus. There's no bus stop. So yeah, that was interesting, learning how to navigate all the new countries and how they all have different setups that work. Like in Sri Lanka, their train systems were quite confusing with how you buy tickets, and they have the routes on the boards, and yeah, that was a lot. That was painful. I've learned how to do everything on my own. Like I was quite independent anyway before I left the UK. I lived on my own for 6 years, maybe 7 years. And I do love living on my own. But when you go into another country and you are on your own, there's a lot more to learn, and you have to trust strangers. Like there's a lot to it. You see these solo travelers on YouTube or Instagram, and they've done like full vlogs and stuff. Like hats off to you, because it's not as easy as it looks through social media. You've got the reality of stuff that can be challenging. And every location comes with different challenges, and you just have to learn to navigate it on your own. Even on the emotional days, or the days where you feel homesick, or the days where you just wish you had company, those kind of things all come into it, and you just have to manage your emotions and carry on. So that's definitely something that I've learned in this last year of being a solo traveler, the dependency on myself. Another good one is how to make somewhere feel like home, even though it's not. Like that is how I probably settled in the best that I could with where I was. I just made my space my home, put my things where I wanted them to be, rather than like living as if I'm gonna go soon. I would settle in as best I can, and I would pick carefully on where I'm gonna stay. So if I was picking accommodation, I would always look for something that's got a lot of daylight. That to me felt comforting. And I think that's because my home in the UK that I had massive windows. Every room in that house had windows touching wall to wall. Like the whole width of the room was a window. So it had so much natural light coming in, and I've just always been used to that. So when I go somewhere that doesn't have a lot of natural light, I'm like, oh, I feel a bit closed in. Making somewhere feel like a home is a challenging part of traveling, but again, it teaches you a lot. It teaches you a lot about yourself. How to use a MacBook. Which people will be thinking, what the fuck? How do you not know how to use a laptop? MacBooks are obviously different than the average laptop. But the last time I used a laptop was in, what year was I doing estate agency? 2014, maybe 2015. That was the last time I used a laptop, like solid laptop. I was always in the beauty industry, creative world. So yeah, I didn't need a laptop, I just used my phone. So when I came and bought my MacBook while I was traveling, because I started my life coaching course, I needed a laptop. And trying to navigate a MacBook, I was like, wow, I'm 30 and I can't work a MacBook. So that's something else I learned in 2025. I learned how to start a clothing brand and failed it. I say I failed it. I didn't fail it. I pulled out from it. So I got all the logistics built up and ready to go. My plan was to create clothing in Indonesia because they use all natural materials. They use 100% cotton, 100% linen, 100% silk. They use all the natural materials, and I'm quite big on natural materials with clothing. So like now, this top's 100% linen. These trousers are 100% cotton. And I love natural clothing. And I thought, right, let's make this into a clothing brand. And, you know, built it all up, set up the website, set up the branding, bought the business license in Dubai, which, by the way, is an absolute ball ache. That needs to be another episode, I think. If you're interested in that, drop me a comment and I will generate a video for that. So I set the licensing up, ready to go, paid a fashion designer to build me the clothing. And then when the prices were coming back from these manufacturers in Indonesia, I could not believe the prices that were coming through. Like everywhere I'd looked had been, you know, oh, it's really good pricing in Indonesia to get your clothing. Not when it comes to natural material, guys. They didn't say that. So it probably would have been cheaper if I was buying rayon or nylon or polyester, all the crappy materials that are full of chemicals that disrupt hormones. If I was buying that, yeah, it probably would have been cheaper. But because I wanted to do 100% natural clothing with no chemical processing, no synthetic material, it was too expensive. Like genuinely, it would have wiped out my savings and I'd still got another 5 or 6 months worth of traveling to do that I'd paid for the accommodation and flights on, but I'd not paid obviously for the food and day-to-day stuff. So I just said, no, I can't do this. I cannot part with that level of money to trial a clothing brand. So I pulled out, but I learned how to do it. So if I ever wanted to do it again, I'd know what to do. But yeah, another part of that is accept failures as redirection. I don't believe failures are a bad thing. I think they're a great thing to show that you've been brave enough to try it, which not a lot of people will do. So I failed at a business that I tried to open. It's fine. I lost probably 5K, which is a lot of money, but it is what it is. Can't do anything about it, so no point dwelling on it. The other two costs with the licensing and the website and logo, I managed to maneuver slightly to tailor to where it wasn't a complete loss of money. Otherwise, that would have been another large amount, let's just say. Large amount. I've also learned how to skip again in 2025. And when I say skip, I mean just jump rope. Something that I've not done since a kid. And I thought, oh, it'll be easy. Quick cardio, it's a cheat sheet, which it is. But, oh, I was laughable on my first attempt. I was doing the galloping type skipping, you know, where you jump and one leg comes up at the back. I looked ridiculous, but I now know how to skip again. So that's another thing I've learned in 2025. I've also learned how to celebrate myself. And again, I mean that humbly. Just being proud of yourself and what you've achieved, like that needs to be shouted about more. I think, especially around social media, it's so easy for people to assume that you're just a egotistic, arrogant sod. But I think it's really important to celebrate your wins and celebrate your successes and shout about yourself. Like, where's that gone? Why is that not a thing? And that you don't have to love yourself as in like, oh, she's full of herself. To do that, like you can genuinely just be proud of what you've achieved and say it, voice it. I mean, I love seeing people win. I don't take any of it as a comparison to where I'm at. I don't see it as a threat. I just love to see people win. And I think, well done for working hard and just doing it, just going for it. Like, I fucking love that. I love it for anyone that's just working on themselves and doing well. Like, let's make it normal again. I've learned how to drive in Dubai without dying. Honestly, the roads in Dubai, I go into that in one of my other travel videos on my page, by the way. It's part 2. No, it's part 3. Oh, is it part 2? I can't remember. Anyway, the roads in Dubai, chaos, wild. I managed to drive. It was obviously on the wrong side of the car and the road for me. Being from the UK, they drive on the left. Yeah, they drive on the left. So everything was in reverse. But yeah, their roads are crazy confusing. And that was probably my greatest challenge of 2025, I would say. Learning to drive a car in Dubai. Some people do it and they just pick it up and they're just like, oh, it's fine. Whew. I was out my depth, but I did it. I won't be doing it again, however, but I did it. I learned how to reset my gut in 2025, which I could do a video on. I've got an ebook on how to reset a gut being released soon. I've got another 3 ebooks, by the way, which I've not mentioned. They're in the bio of my channel. One is on mindset, one is on entrepreneurship, and one is on food. 3 things that matter to me, and I'm sharing my experiences and what I've learned. So yeah, have a look for those ones if you're interested. And the new one is going to be resetting the gut because I've successfully done it. And it's quite generic, so anyone else can do the same. I also learned how to release emotions stored in the body, and it's called a somatic release. And that was a very interesting journey, let's say. And I've essentially figured out and broken the cycle that I'd naturally, it stems back from how my nervous system was programmed as a child. So I had no influence over how this happened. It's just how it was formed. Everybody's formed differently, obviously. And I noticed through adult life, I was trauma bonding with relationships and connections. And I was overgiving to people that didn't reciprocate. So it felt like an overgive and that can't give the same back. And it was causing such disruption to my nervous system because I wasn't aware of why the dynamics kept ending up like this. So then when I learned about all of that, the somatic release came into it where the reality hit and I just burst into floods of tears. And it was like uncontrollable sobbing. And that is the emotional release that was stuck. But the pattern that I broke was the somatic release. So that cry that I did removed the uncertainty and the unsettling feeling in my nervous system. If I'm talking in a way that doesn't make sense, then please forgive me. I'm trying to articulate it the best I can. Yeah, it's really interesting to understand that that's all it is. Like, your nervous system was wired up one way and this is the way it went. Registering it, realizing it, breaking that pattern, oh, it did wonders for my body. Like, I slept like I've never slept before that night. And yeah, just removed it all from my body. It's crazy how much stores in the body just from emotion. So yeah, very big win on that. I no longer bond through trauma. Yay! At the age of 31, only just realizing this. I've learned how to coach. So I'm a trainee life coach at the moment, and I've been practicing coaching with my teammates for the last 12 weeks, and I've actually got my assessment today. That's going well, but again, I've learned so much about how the mind works and how other people interpret things and how to guide someone to find their own success without advising, without telling them the answers. That's been really interesting to learn. I've learned to love myself more. I've always been very self-critical and very speaking negatively about myself quite a lot of my years. And it's down to insecurity and down to how others would treat me when I'm doing nothing but good or nothing but kindness, that kind of thing. So this last year, I've definitely learned how to just love myself as I am. I'm constantly trying to improve myself, which is all you can do. And yeah, just learning from mistakes, trying to be a better person every day. But that's something else I've learned in this last year of traveling. I think it's just opened my mind more, and I'm out of the environment that I was in that mindset in. I've learned how to successfully rescue a street dog. Yay! Small win. I can't save the world, but if I can save one dog, that's enough. So that was very rewarding, and just what comes with it. Like you've got to keep this dog with you while it's a street dog, and you know they're quite unpredictable behaviour wise, and get it to a vet, figure out who to contact to get it to a vet, pay the bill for it because you're technically liable for it because nobody owns it. The vets can't just do it for free. And yeah, then figure out where it goes after the care's been done, because it can't end up back on the street because it'll be in the same cycle again. So yeah, that was a whole lesson, but such a rewarding lesson. I've learned how to cook new dishes in this last year. That should just be a regular thing anyway, learning how to cook new meals. But me, having travelled for the last year, I've not really settled anywhere to cook things. I've always just eaten out. So getting back into the kitchen and cooking some new recipes, I've really enjoyed that, broadening my knowledge. And I've also learned how to adapt to different cultures, and obviously respecting other cultures and learning about them ahead of you landing there. So they're the things that I've learned in 2025 that I can think of off the top of my head. To some people you might think, really, is that it? But they're big for me, and for a solo traveller that's doing this for the first time, I'm pleased with the list that I've learned in 2025. But what I want to hear from you in the comments is what you've learned from 2025. How big or small. Tell me things that you've learned about yourself, or about a new skill or a new job, anything, a new hobby. Tell me what you've learned in 2025 and what you want to learn for 2026. That would be a good one as well. What do you want to learn for this year? I've already got rollerblading on my list, so that's me done. But if you like this kind of content, and you know, I can just be listened to in the background of whatever you're doing in your life, or if you're taking notes with what I'm saying, then subscribe to my channel, like this video, drop me a comment, and we will speak again.